Alright guys, so I recorded this video already, but guess what? This mic wasn't on. Let's go! So, where are we gonna start? First things first, I want to thank all of you, for making me go from 230 subs to 420, I believe, by now. Come on, that's crazy. And I used to think YouTubers were like disingenuous whenever they thanked every person that they did not know on their channel, but honestly, just from this like very small little YouTube asshole that I am, you guys listening to me yap for 15-30 minutes of your day does a lot to help it grow. And not just that, but every single one of your comments and the ones that I'm interacting with, and I promise I'm interacting with every single one little by little. There are a lot more than I thought that I would have ever gotten, so I'm trying my best to make sure that I give you, like, not just generic, like, oh, that's cool, but, like, I genuinely want to have conversations with you guys. And some of you have found me on Instagram, so also feel free to go on Instagram, cosmic.frame1331. You guys can talk to me over there on message, and where I can probably give you more time or even send a voice message just for the shits and giggles, man. I genuinely enjoy this part of the platform, which is just talking to you guys about opinions and not the, this is really cool. And I just never thought that it would get to this point since February 2nd. You guys have just been day one. So I genuinely appreciate it. I'm not trying to be disingenuous. Like, in 2 days, you guys doubled the numbers, and I see the shares, and I've got a shitload of shares. Like, we're up 80 shares. Who the fuck's sharing my videos? I don't know, but thank you. That means a lot. That helps a lot. So genuinely, this is great, and I want to thank you. And there, of course, there's a couple of not so nice comments. Welcome to the internet. One of them was like, "You're acting like the mummy is the second coming of Christ." Well, listen, buddy. God forbid. I'm excited about something I'm making a video about. That's, who would have thunk it? And then another one. Now this one was funny. Another one was, "Do you not own a shirt? Are you thirsty?" Eye roll emoji. Listen, bud, it's, if a man's bare shoulders offends you, we got a little bit more going on than just me having a tank top on. But if you need a trainer, all you got to do is ask. I'm actually certified. I will happily train you. No charge. I mean it. I also want to talk at the end of this video about how interesting the discourse has been between people who love the Mummy, Lee Cronin's The Mummy, and people who are really disliking it. And it's brought up this subject of originality that I think I have some fair points, and I want to bring up at the end of the video. So stick around for that if you're interested. If not, after the video, I'll see you on the next one. But I do think I have some fair points that might be worth listening to. So the horror movie we're going to talk about tonight is called Death Whisperer. It's on Netflix, all three of them, in fact. And the first one has been on my watch list since 2024 when it came out. And it's one of those movies where I was just like, I'll get to it when I get to it. And you never get to it. I got to it tonight. And I gotta say, I'm kind of happy that I did. So this movie is a trilogy, and I was worried that, like, this movie was gonna suck for me, and that it would just not vindicate having two other sequels, but then me still watching it out of commitment for having watched the first, because I would have. But I walked out pleasantly surprised, even though I started out unpleasantly unsurprised. That didn't make sense. The movie follows a family of 8 people. 3 brothers, 3 sisters, mom and dad. One of the brothers is coming back from the military because he has a really bad feeling. And one of the sisters is the reason for that bad feeling. You see, she is possessed by something. A hag in the forest. And this hag only attracts itself to the healthiest person in the family, therefore causing them to get sick and physically and emotionally deteriorating them bit by bit. And it just so happens that, like every other horror movie ever, it's the little girl in the family that we got to possess. When I saw the trailer to this, it was sold as, like, their version of The Conjuring. It was, and that already kind of worried me. Here's the thing, and this is an unpopular opinion. This is, you guys are going to crucify me for this. I might lose some credibility. Credibility. And it's that I'm not terribly fond of the Conjuring films. I don't find them scary. I do love Conjuring 2. Genuinely think it's an epic movie. but they're not scary. And when Conjuring 1 came out, I did not get the hype. I did not. I felt, and this is where the conversation of originality comes in. I found Conjuring to be derivative of so many things, all the way down to the master of masters, The Exorcist, up until the time it released. So many derivative elements, but everyone blew that movie's dick. It is a good movie. I'm not saying it's bad, but I didn't understand the hype. I mean, we're talking about this is a huge franchise that has gotten less and less effective with every installment. In my opinion, obviously it's all subjective. This film being compared to The Conjuring was already kind of like, well, we have 17,000 of those. I'm good. You know, like, they weren't effective. If I love the Conjuring films and that is the comparison, then I'd be like, yeah, fuck it, another one, let's do it. But I'm just not that fond of them. I don't find them terrifying. So going into this, I was sat, and the first hour was exactly what I feared it was going to be. It is a very much Conjuring-lite movie. The little girl is possessed. Things are going bump in the night. There's creepy shit in the woods, in the dark, in the back. And there's a lot of interesting framing and blocking in the scenes that is very familiar if you've seen all the Conjuring movies, hell, even the Insidious films. But it's in the second act that this movie fully won me over, because now we're leaning into the cultural elements of this kind of horror, right? Obviously, when something comes out of a foreign country that is horror, the more steeped in their folklore, the better. And this is steeped in it. And I really enjoyed those elements because we started separating ourselves. It's almost like the Conjuring element was the setup. And then we lean into all the weirder elements. For instance, this hag, anytime she takes anytime someone dies from her causing them to get sick, she takes an organ from them and puts it on in the roots of the tree. And it creates this really interesting shot, this really gross out image that you get to see later on, which I thought was like, that's cool. It does remind me of the organic bloody tree from Sleepy Hollow. I love that. Like, I love the concept of like a hag tree or a witch's tree. I think that's such a cool element, and it's one of my favorite scenes from Tim Burton anything, is that tree where the headless horseman comes out of it and then goes back in. So fucking cool. So we start leaning into that stuff. But for the first half, it is a slow fucking draw. Like, it is a slow build. We're learning the characters, and obviously we should, because we need to care. But there's almost an imbalance in the horror to drama, at least for what I was expecting. But I will say that they did a good job making me care about these characters. There is established that the dad is very strict and he cares about farming. He's the kind of dad is like, hey, if you don't go to school on time and you flunk out, I'm going to just pull you out and you're going to work on the farm. That's the kind of parent he is. And the brother, the military brother who comes home because something is off, he's very much just a debaucherous veteran. Who would have thought? That's how we all are. And he is there to kind of solve this problem that he doesn't know exists, but he has a feeling. Towards the latter half, this movie turns him into Ash Williams. And we go from having Scream Queens as the main premise and having a Scream King, Final Boy. It's really interesting how we have that switch up, because for the most part, I thought the little girl was going to be the focus, but it's him trying to figure out how to prevent this curse from taking his sister. We go from the intangible horror of creepy shit going bump in the night to the more tangible, offensive horror of something is going to fucking kill you if you step 5 feet in its direction. There's an incredible sequence in a cornfield that plays so suspensefully because he's running around with a shotgun chasing something he can't see, but it's moving very quickly. And obviously we've seen that kind of setup, but it's in its execution that I think it works fantastically, and it is a standout sequence, and it even ends in something that's like an oh my god, holy shit moment. And from then on, we're introduced to a bunch of sequences that actually feel like no one's safe. Where in the first half, we were just doing the basic, someone's possessed, the shit's creepy, something's going bump in the night, we're down to, now it's kind of a popular thing to do a scene where like you do this repeated motion, and somewhere in that repeated motion, something's going to pop up. We even do that. But it's weird because then the setup is that preconceived notion that it's going to be The Conjuring. And then it turns into something a little bit more cultural leaning. Things that we make slightly different are things that matter. Like the element of the tree, the folklore of the hag, what she wants to do, even the setup and framing and composition of certain sequences, especially the last act, which was kind of an all-out car chase, weirdly enough, in a supernatural horror movie. I thought that was unique. Execution, derivative, but execution was key here. The characters, for the most part, I feel are so fleshed out that I actually cared about at least the brother. I cared about his conflict with his father, and I cared about the little girl, even if the little girl was really doing her best, man. Like, we're doing the whole creepy voice thing again that I hate in horror movies. We're doing the fucking creepy eyes. We're doing the bags under the eyes, the smile, things that I just came from Lee Cronin's The Mummy from doing to perfection, in my opinion. Fight me. And I thought that, watching this sort of lesser version of that performance was like, damn, what a disservice. But the second act turns into something that I was suddenly fully engrossed in. It picks up, and it still handles the family drama well enough to me still care, especially for the main brother. Like, he was it's so cool to just see a Scream King or a final guy in a movie like Ash Williams. They had him down to the blue button down and the boomstick that he got to use. It was like, I see what you guys are doing. I see you guys are fans. Okay, let's do it. And some of the makeup is very Deadite influence. It's crazy to see that Sam Raimi is such a pioneer that, even foreign films are taking that. Of course, it's Sam Raimi, and Evil Dead is kind of universal. So there are elements of that too. And when it leans into that sort of gross out gore, this is a gory movie. There's some really great body horror in here, particularly something doing with a door and a hand and skin peeling off. Wow, that looked great because you could see like the ligaments and you could see the muscles move. It was really, really good. But there are some cons, and that's the pacing and the smoothie blood. Okay, there's a lot of blood in this movie, and on occasion we focus on it too much. We have explosive like blood shit just fucking that looks cool when it's happening, but when the blood is settled and you get a good look at it, it just looks like they went to Planet Smoothie and they painted a little bit of they put like fucking red color dye inside the smoothie to make it look a little bit more red, and it just didn't look good. And this isn't just this movie. To be honest, a lot of Thai horror films like to do this to their blood. Now, I don't know if it's just like a standard thing, right? If it's just production standards or what it is, but if you're someone that pays attention to those small things, especially when there's so much blood, it might pull you out. That being said, where we're at the ending of this film sets up part 2, and obviously there's the third movie. And I looked at the trailers of both, and I have no fucking clue how we went from where we are at part 1 all the way to part 3. And it's because of that I'm going to finish this franchise, because I think that there is something really great here, and I can tell that we're not going in the Conjuring route like we're doing Conjuring 2. No, what it looks like to me is that we are dipping our entire fucking foot down to the knee into other subgenres of horror. Like, some of these elements almost feel Indiana Jones horror, anthropological horror. We're really digging into the folklore element of it, which we kind of dabbled in this. And this is enough for me to go, you know what? I think I will watch part 2. They did a good job keeping me hooked the last 30 minutes. And I think that alone is what's going to keep me to finish this trilogy. So if you're a horror fan and you're patient, you might enjoy this. Some things you got to overlook, but when the horror hits and the imagery is full frontal, in your face, titties and everything, that is a metaphor. I meant the horror. When it's in your face, I am telling you right now, it does work. At least for me, it did. So that's my review for that one. Stay tuned if you want to wait for my review of part 2, and maybe then kind of make your decision on if you want to jump on this or not, if it pays off, because maybe we take 15 steps back from in part 2 and the whole franchise just goes to shit. I don't know, but there's a reason why these are some of the highest grossing Thai films ever. So I'm going to finish the franchise. I'm actually excited to have something that I can maybe go, oh fuck, and put people onto. If this sounds good to you and you want something that I'm certain of, one of the best horror franchises, in my opinion, mine is Satan's Slaves by Joko Anwar. One of, if not my favorite modern director right now. The man anything he touches is God tier. Action, horror. The guy is Oh man, he's amazing. He's genuinely great. Look at Shadow Strays if you're looking for something that is going to be untouchable in terms of action, and look at Satan Slaves if you want something that is going to make you shit harder than you did when you watched The Conjuring. I think Conjuring is so PG-13, it's so goosebumps in comparison to what Satan Slaves 1 and 2 do. Mark my words, if you trust me enough, go watch Satan Slaves 1, please, please. Oh, so good. My other thing that I wanted to talk about, which was originality, right? The concept of and this is being brought up because of the things that we've discussed in the comment section of The Mummy, which has been really interesting because a lot of people are either hating it or loving it. There's no in between. Have you ever had a conversation with someone and you go like, hey, why do you like this? And they go, I don't know. I just don't like it. Fucking hate it. Or you go like, why do you hate it? Why do you like it so much? I don't know, man. I just love it. That's it. Anyway, it's those sort of, you know, where you're trying to push for a conversation with layers and you don't really get that. Or people just go, oh, it sucks. Why do you think it sucks? You know, it sucks. All my friends think it sucks, so it sucks. I feel like we've gotten into a hive mind mentality where it's really, really difficult to accept the simple answers these days, because and a lot of my friends hate me for it because I do challenge them. I was like, okay, well then why do you hate that? Give me a reason. Tell me why. Not because I'm going to shoot it down, but I want to know why. You might not get that. I might not get that. I certainly don't get the answer most of the time. But what's interesting about that is that I've understood that nowadays we're hardwired to only accept the full picture. And we can't, for example, like this review with, you know, Death Whispers. I can say that the blood didn't work and the character, the pacing was lacking. But I don't think it's an awful movie because there's a lot of other things that do work. So I'm not going to write off the movie because the pacing is shit, right? And with The Mummy, I feel like a lot of people are writing off because it's not what they expected from The Mummy. Or it's derivative. But then you look at the biggest franchises in the world. Star Wars. It's derivative of John Carter. John Carter existed before Star Wars. Derivative of Dune. We also have The Mandalorian, one of the biggest shows, derivative of every Western ever created, and people love The Mandalorian. I like The Mandalorian a lot, actually. Even the Conjuring series, which I just brought up, derivative of every haunted house / demonic possession / Chucky film ever, if we're talking about Annabelle. It is absolutely, although, you know, to be fair, Annabelle doesn't do shit. She just sits there, that bitch. You'll be hard-pressed to find anything that is original. If there's one thing that stuck with me in film school, not a lot did, but if there's a couple of things that stuck with me in film school, it was that there are a total of, I believe, 7 to 11 total stories that you can tell in any medium. And it's the execution that is proper, that will set you apart, right? Avatar, for instance, one of the biggest, if not somehow the biggest franchise in all of the world. Billions of dollars, all 3 of those films. I don't particularly enjoy them. Not because they're bad. I don't think they're bad movies. If anything, I commend him on going as far as he did to create this world, these characters, these tribes, this lore, the history, the technology. But it's hard for me to immerse myself in a world that is just CG. I feel like maybe he could have gone out in some fucking woods somewhere and put some CG in it and maybe amplified it, but I mean, the whole movie is just PS6. That's all that they are. So I can't immerse myself. I also think Jake Sully is a terribly dull character. I cannot stand Jake Sully. Holy shit. But I love the villain. Stephen Lang, man, that's my boy. But that's to say, I'm not going to say it's horrible. It's a horrible movie because I understand that it does something for someone. To my point, that is not the most original franchise in the world. It's derivative of so many things. So many things. Whether it be native stories, whether it be sci-fi, whether it be Star Wars, whether it be just about anything. The movie pulls from other things. I mean, our main character is an ex-Marine. We haven't seen that before, but people love it. So this is a genuine question, is the lack of originality really an excuse to write a movie off? If the execution is inspired, any narrative in anything has been inspired by something. For instance, right now I'm playing Crimson Desert. I don't fuck with open world games. I stopped playing them after Red Dead Redemption 2 because they're just too much. I like focused narratives and I like to feel rewarded when I'm exploring a world. I rarely get that feeling anymore because open world games are bloating shit. I'm playing Crimson Desert. It is Red Dead Redemption, Shadow of Mordor, Witcher 3, Cyberpunk, you name it. It's all those open world games in one. But its execution sets it apart almost all of those games to me because of the depth in their mechanics, because of the spontaneous nature of the world. It's things that all these games have done, but they just sat there and said, well, how can we execute that so that we can bring in people like this asshole who doesn't play open world games? And they did something so special. Like I've been playing this fucking game for like 80 hours. No end in sight. I'm also playing Pragmata, one of the highest rated games of this year. It's pretty much a space game. It's pretty much Death Stranding. It's pretty much a third-person shooter. But the execution, it looks beautiful. The characters are endearing. And the gun mechanics aren't just gun mechanics. You're shooting while trying to hack at the same time. There's a reason for why you're hacking and shooting. The world is basically, is it Metrovania? Metroidvania. Yes, Metroidvania. It's basically a Metro game. So to that point, video games, derivative. How many Call of Duties do we get a year? Hey, but if we get one good story at least, not gonna happen. But if we do get one good story, that one might hit. How many GTAs are we gonna fucking have? They sell billions every year. GTA 6, one of the biggest games right now, one of the biggest pieces of mediums that people are waiting for right now. How many fucking GTA games do we have? And are people going to buy entire consoles just to play that game? Yes, they are. But why do we love it so much? Execution. The world is lively. The gun mechanics are fun. The characters are something else. So the argument of originality is almost kind of pointless. And that's not to say that because you can't like something for it being unoriginal. You can absolutely not like something for you could be tired of something and just be like, I'm fucking done over open world games. I don't care how good they are, with the exception of Crimson Desert. But I can tell you with full fairness that I acknowledge that Grand Theft Auto 5 and 4 and all these open world games, there is a market for them because there's something that it's doing for someone. So I don't think they're outright awful. So I just think that the it's unoriginal is such a cop-out answer when there's probably something that you consume that is unoriginal, but your execution is what's bringing you in. And I feel like we should challenge that point more if we're going to have conversation, like respectable, honest conversation. And I think that that's the difference between having like unhealthy discourse and like a genuine intellectually led discussion about media. Because that's kind of what makes it fun to consume the movies and play the games and listen to the music and read the books. I don't know. At this point, I'm rambling, but if you guys agree, please write down in the comments. And if you don't agree, also write down in the comments. You know that I'm always willing to speak the shit and go back and forth. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching this very long video. As always, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you. And I'll see you tomorrow. And as always, I'll see you at the movies.